I don't remember learning how to read. It was just something that happened when I was very young. Reading was important in my home growing up. My mother could always be found reading books in the evening, and bedtime stories were a must. My mother would take us to the library each week, and I looked forward to it. My mother would send me downstairs to the youth section while she explored the upstairs for new books. I would get lost in all of the books the library had to offer and the new adventures I would soon be on. I loved stories and all of the places that I could learn about. Reading became a way to explore possibilities, interests, and adventures, all without ever leaving home. My family loves to talk, debate, discuss, and tell stories about anything and everything. Holidays were amazing. The whole family would be together, and 10 different types of discussions, debate, and storytelling were all underway at once. You could just find a small group with a topic you liked and join right in. However, to really participate in any conversation, you had to know what people were talking about. When I was very young, I would always sit, listen, and watch while the grown-ups and my older cousins would go on and on about all sorts of things. Sometimes I knew a little to follow along, other times I craved the information so that I could participate and make my opinion known. School opened a new door into the reading world. Not only could I read stories of far-off places and adventures, but there was a wealth of information available that I could find on my own. Growing up in my family, having information was necessary to fully participate in any other conversations around the dinner table or family events. Having the information at the ready was vital, but the ability to exercise reasoning and understanding was key to keeping up with the conversations. Through family discussions in school, I learned how to find information, determine reliable sources, and finally assert my opinion with a defense ready if needed. As I got older, I started spending summers in Kentucky with my sister and my grandmother. My sister was in college when I started junior high, and I loved visiting the college while she was TAing biology and chemistry labs. I started reading the science journals that were lying around, looking at experiments, and questioning all the students she had, and I really enjoyed all of it. I started reading more about science and finding interesting topics to bring up at family events. By high school, my sister had graduated and become a physician's assistant. I would still visit, but now, instead of college laboratories, I was hanging around the doctor's office, reading all of the medical books and journals I could get my hands on. In between patients, my sister would stop in and check on me, and I would ask her dozens of questions about what I was reading. And other doctors that would come through, and nurses, would all be asked tons of questions about anything I had my hands on. I had grown up always wanting to be a teacher, but I loved science and wanted to know more. I figured I could always go back and become a teacher later, so I decided to major in biochemistry and try out the science field for a few years, then become a teacher later. The world of literacy really opened up in college. There's information available on every topic, and I could learn, read, or see just about anything I could think of. I quickly became the go-to person for any of my friends who were thinking about something new. They would always ask, "Hey, have you heard about this or that? Or what do you think about so-and-so?" And typically I could always say, "Oh, I just read, saw, heard about that," and we would talk about it with whatever information I could recall, and then I would tell them about the article, the book, the video, the TV show, or the website I had seen or read so that they could check it out on their own. I graduated college and began working as a quality control chemist for a chemical distribution company. And again, I quickly became the go-to person in the company for any questions. If I didn't know it, I certainly could figure out how to find it. Information is readily available nowadays. The internet has put a wealth of information at our fingertips. Critical literacy is vitally important in today's society. Gathering multiple sources and scrutinizing the sources is important prior to sharing the information I have found, so that I'm not passing along misinformation. Being critical of literacy was a skill I learned a little about in college, but ended up practicing every day as a chemist. Being literate has been a defining characteristic of my personality. I hope to share my passion for literacy with my students and let them know that they can understand and know anything that they choose to research.
Created using Powtoon.